This will be a build review of the Aoshima 2000 GT. It's a brand new kit, 1/24 scale. It's a curbside kit. They just released it this year. Let's see what's inside of the box. I did buy the detail upset for it. It's separate. I'll look at those pieces in a minute. Instructions. I'll quickly look at these trees. I don't really want to bore you. I just wanted to show you what comes in the kit. The chrome is exceptionally bright. It's a different kind of chrome trim than you'd normally see in a kit, and the glass is super clear. Like I said before, this is a basic curbside kit. It does have the bottom of an engine, but no top of an engine, and the hood is molded shut. The body's nice and clean, not much cleanup to do at all. It does have red and yellow parts. Decal sheet is really nice. I like the wood grain trim. And it does have a mylar sheet of foil. It's not like bare metal foil, it's more like mylar. Let's take a look at this detail upset. So there's photo etch pieces, metal transfers. I contacted my friend Oleg, and he pre-built the model. And see how high that front stance is? I went ahead and I flipped the spindles to lower the car a little bit, which makes it look more like the factory would have had it. But on the box, look at that wheel gap. In the beginning of the instructions, it will have you glue the brakes onto the spindles. But what I found is to lower the car, you need to remove this small piece here and flip it over to the other side of the spindle. In that way, you're lowering it because this is smaller than this. So you're lowering the whole car. So instead of doing this, go ahead and flip those spindles, and then you can attach the brakes to it. Next, it'll have you assemble these shocks with the upper A-arm. Put the motor in first. And then later on, you'll assemble these pieces together here, and then put the whole assembly in at once. It's really a better idea to assemble all of these pieces outside of the chassis, put it in, and slide the motor into place afterwards. Don't be stupid like me and glue the engine in first. It's a lot easier to do it that way because the pieces are so tight that you'll end up breaking things. Also, when you flip this over, I recommend drilling a hole and putting a pin in instead. This is really flimsy, and when you put the steering shaft here onto that, I broke mine, so I had to hard glue mine into place so I won't have working steering on mine. Here's my completed chassis. Like I said, I assembled all that together. Focus. I assembled all that together. Everything is semi-gloss black, shades of semi-gloss black. This is straight semi-gloss black, and this is just a little bit of gloss black in there as well. So it just gives a little tonal difference. The center section of the chassis here is painted in metallic gray. They suggested an IJN gray in the instructions, but I liked this metallic gray a little better. So you'll paint the center of the chassis, this piece here in the metallic gray, and this back piece here in metallic gray. The exhaust is duraluminum from Gaia Colors, and the engine is painted in a different shade of Gaia Colors, metallic. Back end is same kind of thing, semi-gloss black with a little bit of gloss in it to give it a little tonal difference, and it's all assembled. Brake rotors have a photo etch piece on the front, which will be hidden behind this rim. so that was pretty useless to have a photo etch piece on there, but hey. But the rotors themselves are painted in the same color that I painted the exhaust in. It's just a shiny metallic color. I think it all looks pretty good. I did put a gray wash on the shocks to give them a little bit of interest, but that's the chassis. When you get to the interior, it's going to have you put in all these little decals. All of these decals are too big for the dashboard. You're going to have to punch them out. I messed up this decal first and had to go over to my friend Brian's house. He had a punch set, and I was able to punch out the rest of the decals to put them in. So after I got the dashboard all set, I used the photo transfer, metal transfer for all of the gauges. Those came out real nice. The decals all look really good, especially the wood grain decal. I like that a lot. For the shifter, the metal transfer is actually not big enough to go around and sit flush on the center console. So it's just kind of floating there, but when you look through the little window, it'll just be shiny. I painted the interior in semi-gloss black, and I held the airbrush away to give it just a little bit of texture. You can see that in the light there, because it's not a flat, as opposed to like back here, I put in a real fine spray. So that's semi-gloss black. The door panels are the same texture as the dashboard, and the seats are the same texture as the dashboard and the door panels. For the seat inners, I used NATO black as well as the floor. And I tried to put a texture in the paint a little bit. You can see it so that it represents carpet. I tried embossing powder and flocking, but it all looked just too much out of scale. So I decided to go with paint. The rest of it is built. Nice decals, just nice and clean. I like this a lot. The steering wheel is painted in Tester's leather enamel. It gives it sort of a shiny look, which a real wood steering wheel would be shiny. I was going to do the clear orange trick, but I think this really looks good, and it matches the wood grain on the dash. Here goes the chassis and the interior all finished. For the wheels, I used my circle template to find the right size, and then cut a piece of tape to cover just the center section here, and then painted the wheels in a semi-gloss metallic black, and then took a Q-tip with some mineral spirits and wiped off the chrome off the outer edge. I think these look pretty good. What is this on my finger? I think this is the decal that's supposed to go right there. Shoot, I'll have to fix that. Here's the finished body assembly. I started with Tamiya pink primer, then shot 3 coats of red matter, Mr. Color number 68. First I tried it on a spoon, of course, and that's the color I got, with just a coat of clear on it. So I put it in 4 coats on the body, and then 2 coats of 2K clear. Polished it for an entire day, and I think I did pretty good. I have some sanding scratches in there. Red is probably one of the hardest, if not black is probably the hardest to get sanding scratches out of, but I'm pretty happy with it. It's going to be my shelf model. All of these chrome pieces are really fiddly, small, really, really small. I hope you have some good tweezers. The windows fit, the front and the rear windows fit from the outside, but the side windows fit from the inside. The chrome trim is all separate, and so it makes for a nice clean look instead of having to bare metal foil. So be real careful when you cut those off the trees. That's a photo etch piece there in the back, Toyota. And there's a little triangle here and lock cylinders. I actually lost one of these on the other side, so I cut a piece of foil in the shape of a triangle, stuck it on there. Like I said, everything is really fiddly, but it fits together really well. I put a wash in all of the panel lines. In hindsight, I should have probably mixed some red with the black to tone it down. This is pretty stark, but here nor there. Yours, I think your model would be better than mine. The rear lights look really good. There's a metal transfer right over the lens itself, and I glued everything together with white glue. So looks pretty good. The windshield wipers, you drill a hole prior to paint, so make sure you do that. Follow the instructions. When I went to attach the wipers, you can't push them all the way in the hole because then the wipers will stick up off the windshield. So they're just kind of placed in there and glued in place. But I think the red looks pretty good. What do you think? I went ahead and I mounted the body on the chassis, installed the wheels, the mirrors, the exhaust, and this front cover plate here. All in all, it came out pretty good. It's kind of cool that they included these little inspection tags, and also a decal back here. License plate. Let me put it in the light box and you guys can enjoy the show. So, what do you guys think? I think it's a great model. I think it'll be a good addition to your collection. Next week, we start the Mercedes AMG GT3 group build project for the Strictly Box Stock Model Club. Make sure to join the Facebook group and let me know if you're going to be joining in on the fun, and we'll start it up next week. Until then, thanks. I'll see you next time. Bye.